Alexis Arguello versus Azuma Nelson.
Alexis Arguello versus Azuma Nelson would have been a fantastic fight. Two great fighters in their primes, but I would have gone for Arguello to win the fight. He nearly become a 4-division world champion. Obviously, he's at featherweight that fight, making that fight featherweight. Yeah, I think Arguello would have won. I think with his reach and his height, he would have caused problems for Nelson. And I think he would have got to him in the later rounds and maybe even stopped him in the later rounds.
Adonis Stevenson versus Sergey Kovalev.
I would have gone for Kovalev at his best. I think when he beat Nathan cleverly and then a couple of fights after that, I think he was an absolute beast. You know, I think as time's gone by, I think he's had weight difficulty making the weight. It's weakened him a little bit, but I think he would have stopped Adonis Stevenson in his prime.
Jersey Joe Walcott versus Sonny Liston.
Jersey Joe Walcott versus Sonny Liston. Jersey Joe was a great boxer, very smart, slick. He beat Joe Louis for the world title, so it was a great win for him. I think Liston might have been a little bit too big and heavy for him and a bit of heavy-handed for him, because in the 50s they was pretty small heavyweights. I think Liston might have been too big and powerful for him, and he would have got the job done.
Mike McCallum versus Canelo-Alvarez.
Canelo-Alvarez, yeah, he would have outboxed Mike McCallum. I would have thought. He's a great body puncher, Mike McCallum. Defensively, he was sound as well. But I think Canelo-Alvarez, he's one of my favourite fighters. You know, I think he's got everything in his toolbox. He's got speed, power, defence, footwork. He's got everything, and he would have beat. I think he would have beat him on points. He would have beat McCallum on points.
Emil Griffith versus Tommy Hearns.
Emil Griffith versus Tommy Hearns. That would have been a good fight. I would have had to have gone for Tommy Hearns in that fight. Griffith was a great all-round fighter. He was slick at the head movement, good left hook. But I think Tommy Hearns would have outsped him, and his jab was potent, and the right hand off the jab. I think he would have beat Emil Griffith, maybe stopped him late.
Billy Joe Saunders versus Steve Collins.
I would have gone for Billy Joe Saunders in that fight. When Billy Joe Saunders beat David Lemieux, he showed how to beat like a rough ass of a fighter. Billy Joe's got great slick skills, and then, you know, in his prime, I think he would have outpointed Steve.
Alexander Usyk versus David Haye.
I would have gone for Usyk in that fight. I think that would have been a great fight, actually. It would have been a good fight. I think they both would have tagged each other in the fight, and it'd been one of them ding-dong fights. I think maybe either one would have gone down in the fight, but I think it might have been a points decision to Usyk.
Fernando Vargas versus Erislandy Lara.
That's a difficult one, that one. Vargas, Lara. Lara was obviously the slip Cuban. Vargas could fight. You know, he was game. I think Lara might have just edged that fight. Might have been a split decision, or even a draw. That fight might have been.
Paul Williams versus Vernon Forrest.
That's a good fight. Paul Williams, Vernon Forrest. I think, again, that would have been a very close fight, that fight. Paul Williams, tall, southpaw, could punch. Forrest, a good all-rounder. Fancy Williams to win that fight on points.
Bernard Hopkins versus Jake LaMotta.
Bernard Hopkins, Jake LaMotta, good fight. I would have gone for Hopkins because LaMotta was limited in his skill set. Although he was strong and he could punch, Hopkins could take a punch. I think Hopkins would have outpointed LaMotta widely.
Ezzard Charles versus Bob Foster.
Good fight. I think Ezzard Charles was probably better at heavyweight than he was at light heavyweight. Bob Foster was special. He held that title for a long time, 6 or 7 years. I think Bob Foster would have outpointed Ezard Charles, maybe stopped him.
Salvador Sanchez versus Willie Pep.
Good fight. Willie Pep, great footwork, great hand speed, great defence. Sanchez, a special fighter, good puncher. Good fight, that one, actually. I might go for Pep, actually. I think he's really hard to beat at the time, at his peak. I know he got beat by Sandy Sadler, but his skill set and his movement and just his time in a punch, I think he would have outpointed Sanchez.